Recent leaks have indicated that AMD may potentially be finally putting the nail in NVIDIA's coffin, and I, for one, couldn't be happier. So let's talk about that.
Future's now, old man.
Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Dallin, host of Dallin's Creations. Um, just a fun tech and creation channel. I just want to introduce myself. I've done a couple videos but never formally introduced myself. And today we're going to be looking over some recent leaks just regarding AMD's potential future high-end GPUs. Now this generation, they obviously decided not to go high-end. They stuck with mid-tier GPUs for the scalable market. And because of that, many people like myself who kind of require higher-end cards for their workflow and just general needs had to go back to NVIDIA this generation, which was very unfortunate. I've done two videos kind of going over my upgrade process as well as my thoughts on AMD, and I'm a huge fan. Basically, my first computers used AMD CPUs before Ryzen, so they weren't great, but I've been a fan of them. They're the underdog. But according to a semi-reputable leaker, Moore's Law is dead, AMD's next-gen RDNA 5 GPUs, currently their placeholder name is the 190 XT. Not a huge fan of the name, but it makes sense. AMD is kind of targeting the next flagship GPU, the 6090. What's really unique is AMD, in general, has been a little bit more lax on VRAM that they provide consumers. The 7900 XT that I used to use had 20 gigs of VRAM. I downgraded to 16 gigs because that's what they give you in the 5080. But if these leaks are expected to be believed, which take with a huge grain of salt, the next generation 190 XT supposedly will have 36 gigs of GDDR7 VRAM, 154 compute units, and a 384-bit memory bus. Of course, the GPUs aren't confirmed. It's just a leak, so we can't really we can't really take things at face value right now. However, with RDNA 5 GPUs slotted to be released probably next year or 2027, it's looking pretty likely that they may be going back over to the high end, especially with the success of the 9070 XT. So we'll see how it comes out. Right now, their current expected performance equivalence for the 190 XT is going to be the RTX 6090. That's what they're going to be targeting. Of course, we'll really see how close they get. AMD has always said, oh yeah, our flagship is on par with this flagship, and it's always fallen a little bit short. So we'll definitely have to see how that turns out. One interesting thing is their step-down GPU, the 170 XT, is supposed to be targeting the 5080/4090. It'll have 18 gigs of VRAM. It looks like they're streamlining their products right now quite a bit more because they don't really have an XTX version. So it looks like the 190 XT is what the XTX would have been for the 97 or 7900. And then they have the GRE version of the 170, which will target an RX 9070 or RTX 4080 Super. Still decent performance. And that will include, it looks like 15 gigs of VRAM. And then their lowest tier, the 160 XT, will include 12 gigs of VRAM. which is kind of borderline still cutting it close with some games, especially at higher resolutions. But since this card's only targeting a 5060 Ti or 5070, you're not really going to be looking at high resolution, high texture gameplay. Do keep in mind, of course, all of these names are placeholder. They're very likely to change. And memory, bandwidth, and everything can be subject to change. And I'll have Moore's Law is Dead's sheet pulled up. It's been pulled up for a little bit for you guys, so you can follow along. So that's pretty interesting. Again, I'm pretty skeptical on if they're going to be able to match a 6090 in terms of performance, just because every time they've tried to match the highest end, AMD's fallen a bit short. But with RDNA, it's been a significant improvement. They're more efficient. In general, they've been a better buy and better price to performance. So we'll have to see how it turns out. But I don't know. These leaks are pretty interesting. Again, don't take anything too seriously. Take it all with a grain of salt. Moore's Law is Dead has some past leaks that have been pretty reputable. I think their PS5 Pro spec sheet was pretty accurate, but they've also been pretty clickbaity and pretty borderline misleading with a lot of their titles and leaks. So we'll just have to see what happens next year. We should hopefully learn more information officially from AMD. But if it is true that AMD is coming back and they can match the 6090's performance, then I may be switching back to Team Red if they can match that performance. Because my next GPU upgrade is going to be a 90 tier card. I just need the more VRAM. I miss the VRAM, but yeah. So that's just kind of going over some of these leaks, just in a casual aspect, while I'm on lunch break from my main job. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully AMD knocks it out of the park. There's not any severe driver issues, and they are able to get the performance they need from launch. And if they can manage that, and it's a competitive price range, preferably lower than what NVIDIA would be charging, then that would be fantastic. Currently, one of the rumors is the 170 XT would be at a $550 price point. MSRP you can't trust though, so that's going to look more probably like 650, 700 in the actual market. But still, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes and if AMD can pull it off. So let me know what you guys think about these leaks. Do you think they're credible? Do you think they're completely ridiculous? I want to hear what you guys have to say. And if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. If you didn't like it, just leave a dislike and tell me why you didn't like it. And yeah, that's it. Peace.